Welcome to our deep dive. Today we're going to unpack one of the most incredible narratives in the Qur'an, the story of the Prophet Solomon and the hoopoe bird from Surah An-Naml. Using a really detailed theological commentary as our guide, we're going to go way beyond just a simple reading. Think of this as a forensic examination of the text, because this isn't just a children's story. It's a super sophisticated exploration of knowledge, power, and what's real and what isn't.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The commentary we're looking at describes a kingdom that is unlike anything else in history. This was a dominion given to the prophet Solomon as a direct sign of God's favor. I mean, this was a man who wasn't just blessed with incredible power and wisdom, but with a truly unique, miraculous gift. He could communicate with and command all of God's creation. The text is very specific. His armies weren't just men. They included the jinn, those powerful, unseen beings, and entire legions of birds, all organized with perfect military precision, held in check, as the verse says, so that none could move out of line without permission. And right here, this is the question that just ignites the entire narrative. It's a question that really challenges our basic assumptions about who has knowledge and who has authority. I mean, think about it. Could a creature, a seemingly tiny part of this grand cosmic order, actually possess information so vital that was hidden even from a prophet of God, a man who literally received revelation? This one possibility just opens up a profound mystery and forces us to rethink everything we know about the hierarchy of knowledge.
To really grasp the weight of what's about to happen, we first have to understand the foundation of Solomon's rule. This wasn't just a kingdom. It was a living, breathing miracle, a constant demonstration of divine power and order.
A really key concept to get our heads around is this term, mantiq al-tayr. The Qur'an says Solomon was taught the speech of birds. Now, the commentary is absolutely clear on this point. This wasn't just, an intuitive gut feeling about what animals were thinking. This was a divine gift, the ability to understand a real, complex language. This means these creatures had their own logic. Mantiq comes from that root, and they could express complex thoughts, reports, and ideas. Solomon was given the key to this language, which allowed for actual, meaningful, two-way conversations.
So the Quran paints this picture of absolute power and perfect order. His forces of jinn, men, and birds are marshaled in ranks. Just try to imagine that spectacle for a second, a unified army of completely different species all standing in their designated place. But as Solomon, the meticulous commander-in-chief, inspects his avian forces, he notices one empty spot, a single unauthorized absence. In a system built on flawless divine discipline, one small creature, the hoopoe, is gone.
And Solomon's reaction is immediate, and it is severe. This isn't just about a bird skipping out on duty. No, this represents a crack in the divine order that his entire kingdom is built on. His response really underscores just how high the stakes are. Any disruption has to be accounted for. The threat is death or severe punishment, unless, and this is the important part, unless the hoopoe can bring a sultanin mobin, a clear proof, a compelling reason, and undeniable authority for its absence. This is legal language, not just an angry outburst. The entire burden of proof is now on this tiny bird.
So you can feel the tension, right? The hoopoe finally returns, and it's facing the full wrath of the prophet king. But instead of a timid apology, it makes one of the boldest, most audacious statements you'll find anywhere in Scripture.
After what the text says was not long, the hoopoe reappears. It lands right in front of Solomon, completely aware of the threat hanging over its head. Its life is literally on the line, and everything depends on the quality of the information it's about to deliver. This is more than a report. It's the bird's legal defense.
And this is the line where everything changes. The hoopoe doesn't say, "Oh, I'm so sorry I got lost." It looks directly at the prophet and says the words you see on the screen. "I have encompassed in knowledge that which you have not encompassed." Let's just pause on that for a second. The Arabic verb hattu doesn't just mean I know. It means to completely surround something, to grasp it from all sides, to have total comprehension. So you have a small bird, a subject, a soldier, telling its commander, who is a prophet of God famous for his wisdom, that it has a whole sphere of knowledge that he doesn't. This is the central puzzle that the rest of the story is going to solve.
So how is this even possible? How can any creature, even one that can talk, know more than a prophet? Well, to figure this out, the commentary walks us through a really important theological idea, the nature of what's called ghaib, or the unseen.
Ghaib is basically all the knowledge that's fundamentally beyond what our senses or our normal intellect can grasp.
It's the reality that exists, but that we just can't perceive directly. But, and this is the key, the source material is very careful to explain that not all ghaib is created equal. There are different categories of hidden knowledge, and understanding that is the only way to make sense of the Hupo's claim.
And this slide right here breaks it all down perfectly. The commentary makes a distinction between absolute ghaib and relative ghaib. Now, the absolute unseen, that's knowledge of the future, the nature of the soul, the exact time of the day of judgment. That stuff belongs only to God. Full stop. No prophet, no angel can access it on their own. But relative ghaib is different. That's knowledge that is unseen to one person simply because of where they are, but at the same time, it's being witnessed by someone else. Think of it this way. For me, right now, what's happening in a specific room in Tokyo is relative ghaib. I can't know it, but for someone in that room, it's just observable reality. The Hupo's knowledge was this second type. It wasn't claiming to know God's secrets. It was claiming to have seen things happening in the world that Solomon, because he was somewhere else, had not.
Okay, so what was this incredible piece of relative ghaib? What was this secret that the Hupo risked its neck to uncover? Well, the bird now delivers this incredibly detailed intelligence report that is about to change the history of 2 entire kingdoms.
And the report the Hupo gives isn't some vague rumor. It's a structured briefing with 4 key points. Number 1, the political situation. A powerful kingdom, Sheba, is a monarchy, and it's ruled by a woman, which was a pretty big deal in the ancient world. 2, their economic power. The Qur'an says she has been given from everything, which our commentary explains means they were a highly advanced civilization with massive wealth and resources. 3, the symbol of her power, a magnificent throne, which tells Solomon this is an established, stable, and powerful regime. And 4, the most critical piece of intel for a prophet of God, their spiritual state. The queen and all her people worship the sun, a created object, instead of the one true creator. This report just went from geopolitics to a matter of absolute theological urgency.
So when Solomon hears this incredible report, he shows us his profound wisdom. He doesn't just dismiss the Hupo out of arrogance. He doesn't punish it. He actually accepts that this wild story could be true. His response is that of a just ruler and a careful investigator. He puts judgment on hold and immediately starts a process of verification. The clear authority has been presented, and now it's got to be tested. And this sets a huge precedent for just leadership. You investigate claims, you don't just accept or reject them based on who is speaking.
Now, at this point in the story, things really elevate. It stops being just a tale about kings and birds, and it becomes a much deeper meditation on what it actually means to see and to truly understand the world around you.
So why was their sun worship so important? Well, the commentary points out this really powerful irony that's at the heart of the story's message. The people of Sheba were sophisticated. They had eyes, right? They had physical sight. They could see the sun, they could feel its power, but their sight was only skin deep. They were so dazzled by the creation that they became completely blind to the creator behind it. But the Hupo, this humble little bird, had something much deeper. It didn't just have sight, it had insight. It saw the same sun, but it understood that the sun was just a sign, a pointer, to a much greater unseen power. And the source material uses this whole story to make a profound point about what it means to be truly human. See, to be human in form is just to have the body, the eyes, the ears. But to be human in essence is to use those senses to perceive the reality behind the physical world. And in this story, the people of Sheba are presented as human in form only. They see, but they don't perceive. They're totally fooled by the outward appearance of the sun's power. And here's the twist. The Hupo, the bird, is the one that actually demonstrates that higher state of being. It shows true perception, the basira, that defines what humanity is supposed to be. It's a really humbling lesson that true insight isn't about your status or your power or even your species. It's about using what you've been given to see beyond the surface.
And so, this ancient story leaves us with this powerful, timeless question. It challenges every one of us to look past the obvious hierarchies, to actually listen to the voices we might normally just dismiss. I mean, if a prophet of God, a man getting divine revelation, can learn something vital from a bird, then who can we learn from? The story of the Hupo is a lesson that truth and wisdom can come from the most unexpected places imaginable, and it urges us to stay humble, stay open, and always be watching for that clear authority of truth, no matter who or what is delivering it.